After building my chest from this to this, I realized that there are only 3 main exercises that you need to target each part of your chest. For the upper chest, middle chest, and of course the lower chest. Now for upper chest, what you want is an incline dumbbell bench press. So you want to set the bench at a 45-degree angle, just like this. And then the seat, you want it just one up. So just one little angle up. And then you want to place the dumbbells on your knees. Now you don't want to have them really far up your quad, you want them towards the end, so resting on your like kneecaps essentially. And what you want to do when you go backwards, you really want to thrust them backwards because you're trying to get into position. If you've got no one to, or even if you do have someone to spot you, you have to throw them back, because if you're just like holding these dumbbells and then you try and put them back into position, you will just strain your shoulders, and also you just won't be able to perform in your set very well because you've already used a lot of energy. So when you go back, you'll see that I use a lot of momentum to thrust them back. See, that was all my knees. That was completely all my knees right there. So they are now into this position. And then I just want to press up, and I do want to use momentum for this. For every single set in the gym, you never want to use momentum. You just want to target the intended muscle. But for this, I want you to kip up as much as possible because you want to reserve as much energy for your chest. And this isn't the starting position. That is. So you can see I sort of like push it out a little bit and move my back up and stuff like that. You can see I get a bit of an arc because this is the starting position. So if you have someone to like hold your arms up, like press your arms up as a spotter, then that is helpful, but I didn't here. Now you do want a little bit of an arch in your back. You don't want it to be completely flat. You want a little bit of an arch. And then you want to use, you actually don't want to use leg drive. Leg drive is when you push into the floor and put the emphasis through your quads. You don't want that because you are trying to target your chest. If you're going for like a PR on bench, for example, over here, then sure. But you want to target your chest, so try not to use leg drive. And then you will see that my arms are at this sort of 45-degree angle. You see lots of people bench like this, they go up and down like this. You want to bring them in a little bit. So you can see instead of completely wide out like this, I bring them in and go down. So as you can see here, I go all the way down. Now this was a clip taken a little while ago, so I've not got the perfect form, but I'll tell you how to correct it. So you can see I go down, and I go down nice and slowly. You want to control the weight the whole way down. But at the bottom, I don't do this here. You want to hold the weight. You want to hold it for about half a second. So you go down and up again. And that really like strengthens the contraction. So you can see I just sort of bounce it up, and I'm using a little bit of kipping there. You can see I'm sort of flexing my back up and stuff. You don't want to do that. Now, I was ego lifting at this point because I wasn't strong enough to lift these 24s. Now I am. So when I go down, I pause at the bottom of the rep and then press on the way up. Pretend you're squeezing your biceps into each other like this, and you'll feel that contraction in your chest. Now, for every single exercise you do, you always want to go to failure, because if you don't go to failure, then why would your muscles grow if they can already lift the weight? So if we just go to the end, you can see I fail here and I have to dismount. So I can't press the weight anymore. I physically cannot get another rep. So at that point, I do the reverse of what I did originally and bring my knees back up. When I bring my knees back up, as long as you bring your knees up, the weight will just push you forward. You don't have to get up or anything. It's weird how it works, but you just move upwards. I don't know why. So that is how you target your upper chest. Very, very important. Now, for your middle chest, this is one of my favorites. This is flat dumbbell bench press. So these are exercises that literally anyone can do with just like a dumbbell and a bench. So every gym will have these, or they should do, unless you're using like some weird hotel gym or something. Now, if you want to physically download these workouts that I'm using, then I have presets here that you can literally just click. It's a clickable link, goes straight onto your phone, you press the start button and you're ready to go. And also in this course, I have tutorials on absolutely everything to do with training. So chest exercise, shoulder exercise, by every single thing you could possibly think of, I show you just like I did in excruciating detail for every possible exercise I have ever done in my life. That is all here, along with lots of extra modules. And also I've got full courses, not only just on training, but nutrition, a tutorial on mindset, and also lots of extra bonus courses in there as well. And if you're struggling with what exercises to do, or you are struggling with the form because you think it's not quite right, then you can just send me a video or the members within this group, and we will help you personally to improve. So that is the first link in the description. Click that to maximize your progress. Now, the flat dumbbell bench press you want the bench to be completely flat. You don't want it to be up, down, or anything. You just want it to be completely flat, which makes sense because it's called flat bench. Now, I just want to say that I am on the 24s here. Now I am on the 30s. And this was only taken about a month or two ago. And it's because I've been training heavy, so 4 to 7 reps rather than 8 to 12. I've noticed much more muscle growth. And also it is of course the diet that I'm on. So meat, eggs, fruit and raw dairy. I'm getting bioavailable sources of protein. I am getting complete proteins. I'm not sabotaging myself with all these starchy carbs and chemicals and seed oils. So my body is not inflamed. It is not unhealthy. My body has all the proteins, vitamins, nutrients, minerals, everything it could possibly need to grow. And I have visibly seen the difference in statistical data saying that I have improved on my lifts. And it's literally happened just like that. It's amazing. So this is extremely similar to incline, except it's just flat. But you want to hold the dumbbells further up your knee, so towards like the back of your quads, right? You don't want them to be on your kneecaps at this point because you want it really tucked in close to your body. You want to be nice and tight when you, what's the opposite of dismount? I don't know, when you start your set essentially. So when you go back, you want to go down nice and slow and you have to do this sort of like weird movement, right? Like you're giving birth into position just like that. And then once again, press up to the top, nice and controlled, and this is when you're ready to go. So a little bit of an arch in the back. I know you can't see it. You don't want to be like this, like you're ascending to heaven or anything. You just want to have a little bit of an arch and then go down and make sure you get to about where you touch your pec. So you can see lots of people go down to about here, or for example, they go down to about there and then they stop. That is not a full rep. You want to get the full stretch. So you want it so it stretches a little bit, and not depending on the size of the dumbbell head, like the face, it should touch just the top of there, just the top of your chest. And then pause for half a second and press back up. This is much better form. So you can see this in comparison to the last exercise, how much form makes a difference. So just look at the contraction I get here. Half a pause at the bottom and then straight back up again, nice and controlled. This is perfect form right here. If you can replicate this, then you'll be winning. So once again, go all the way to failure, and when you reach failure, then you are going to dismount the same as you did before. So you can see I fail there, bring my knees up, and you just come straight back up to the top. And that is flat bench press. That is all you need for the middle chest. Now for lower chest, this is the final one. And this is possibly one of my favorite exercises. In fact, all these 3 chest exercises are just so much fun for me. You can find other ones, of course, there's many others. I use others, but these are the 3 that have built my chest the most and I enjoy. So I would actually want to do these if I went to the gym. Now, we have got a cable machine. So hopefully your gym has a cable machine. If it doesn't, then you can do dips, but lots of people can't do dips, for example. If you're awesome and you can do dips, then go for that. This is a fantastic movement as well. So you want to get 2 D handles just like these, so just like 2 grips, and you want to attach them up here. And you want to just stretch out like this, and wherever your hand reaches, ends up, that's where you want to put the top of the cable. So you can see that's where the cable reaches, so it's near the top. And now when you go down, I've got really heavy on this. I've got like about 5 kg, 10 kg extra, 5 kg, 7.5. I've increased since this point. So now I have to use this little step here to jump upwards into position, and it looks really awkward. I think I do it here as well, yeah. Oh no, I sort of pull it back. Now it gets to the point where it's so heavy that I actually have to jump. Like I have to step off that and I jump and then push down to get into position. So it looks a bit cringe, but it's how I have to get into it. Now when I recorded this, I used to do it how lots of other people do it. So they stand really far forward like this, leaning forward, and they stretch all the way back and stretch all the way forward. I find that that's not as good of a contraction as this new one. So I realize and have to get back into position. So you can see I'm doing it normally here, and then I realized that it's actually not the one that I intend to do, so I try and move backwards a bit. So you want the back of your foot to be in line with the cable machine, and you want to be in this lunge position, and you want to be slightly facing over, so you're like this, right? And so rather coming down at this angle, like this, like you're flapping like a bird flapping its wings, for example, you want to press down into it, like literally like you're doing a dip, right? So pretend you're doing a dip and you're doing this, right? And you can feel the top of your chest flexing as you go down. just like that. That is how I want you to do it, because lots of people don't do it that way, and this contraction is so much nicer, I promise. And because this exercise is on a cable machine, you can go really hard on this. So you go all the way to the top, make sure your arms are at this sort of like 90-degree angle, as in, so your arms are 90 degrees from your body, and then your forearms are sort of this like 30 degree, a little bit bent, right? You don't want it to be completely bent, you don't want it to be completely flat, like straight out, you don't want that. Just a little bit of a bend in the arms, and then push down. Try not to thrust like this, like every single movement. Just focus the muscle itself, and when the muscle gives out, that's when you stop. You don't stop when you don't start kipping, for example, like on bicep curls. You don't just start kipping just to try and get an excess bit of muscle activation, because you're not even targeting the muscle at that point. If on this exercise I suddenly started doing this, right, just to get an extra rep, guys, then I wouldn't be able, there's no point, because I wouldn't be targeting my chest anyway, because I'd just be using all my other body, all momentum and everything, and I just injure myself, and you don't want that, obviously. So nice and controlled until your muscle that you're intending to train gives out and fatigues, and that is when you fail. So I fail soon here, and also you can do drop sets on this, which is fantastic. And also notice my grip. So my grip is like this. It is not like this. When I am pressing, it is not like that. That is a press. That is a pressing movement. You don't want to press, you want to fly. So you want this grip. So you want it to be like this, obviously downwards. Literally like you're being the Hulk, right? You're going, like that. It's the exact same thing. And you wouldn't go like this, like, you go down, right? It's the same thing. That is the movement that you want to make. And right here, that's when I give up. And the burn on your chest is absolutely phenomenal. So that is how you target each part of your chest. You will not need a single other exercises. Of course, if you want to, then there are many other out there, but these are my favorite 3 that target every part of your chest. Done and dusted. If you want advanced education, then I have put all of my knowledge into these courses. And of course, if you want to have one-on-one access to me, if you're struggling with your form, with your diet, with how to actually start the gym, as simple as what do you put in your school bag, I have that in my tutorial here. This is the program you need. You'll meet a community of guys who are on the same path as you, have the same goals as you, have the same knowledge as you, unlike the people in your class who probably have no idea what you're talking about when you talk about grams of protein in a day, right? So this is the place to be if you actually want to start making progress. Take action, change your life by transforming your physique and your health. That is the first link in the description. I will see you over there. Good night.